When I was 12, my dad cheated on my mom with my godmother and upgraded her to stepmother 4 months after the divorce. Up until about high school, I was rightfully pissed and refused to see my dad outside of weekend visits or be around my stepmom at all. However, my mom seemed to become a different person than I knew her as after the divorce. Both her and my new stepfather were emotionally and verbally towards me, and were obsessed with their image as a family, which I guess I didn't fit, since they made a point of consistently telling me I was an embarrassment to them, especially concerning their more affluent friends and their kids. I went to live with my father after I couldn't take it anymore in high school, which caused a huge fallout due to how hurtful and embarrassing it was for my mom. They barely ever contacted me outside of visits. Irony isn't lost on me there. And even would regularly cancel visits for family work emergencies. I have a little sister who's a virtual stranger to me and seems to refer to me as her trashy sister to her friends. My stepmom was incredibly kind and patient with me. She worked hard to help me get my life together and insisted on getting me proper counseling. My dad and I also reconnected, and I saw a different side of him. He'd always been a quiet, kind of distant guy during him and my mother's marriage, but now he was outgoing and incredibly affectionate. He really helped me come out of my shell. Fast forward some years later, and I'm engaged. My stepmother introduced me to my fiancé. They do work for the same volunteer group, and as a result, my fiancé asks her to be one of the bridesmaids. My mom and I are tentatively trying to reconnect, but it's still shaky at best. Well, I guess I rocked the boat. My mom threw a fit when she found out my stepmother was not only invited, but in my fiancé's bridal party. She pretty much tried to demand that we uninvite her, or she wasn't coming. My fiancé and I both agreed that wasn't happening, and I told her that it was her choice to come or not, and I respected it either way, and ignored any further argument. Well, my mother's been recruiting her side of the family, her husband's family, and apparently my preteen sister and some of her friends for some ducking reason, to gang up on me, my fiancé, and my stepmother. There's been multiple relatives saying they also won't come if she's there now, who were pretty fine with it before, accusing me of betraying my mom, just like your dad did, and trying to bully us into uninviting my stepmom or her into backing out, along with some of them just name-calling and throwing tantrums. I've kept the same attitude. If you don't want to come, it's your choice and it's fine. A few of my friends have also commented it's a little messed up. Maybe I'm blinded by my issues with my mom, but I don't think I'm in the wrong here. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your mom is being childish. This isn't about her. Yes, I can understand why she'd be uncomfortable, but she's remarried as well, and this all happened years ago. She needs to get over it. She also needs to realize that it is your fiancé's choice as to who is in her bridal party. It's not as if you made that decision. I'm sorry that your mom is making this all about her and that she's recruiting others into something that's not anyone's business. It's not fair at all. Hopefully she'll grow up and realize that she's being ridiculous. Either way, congrats, and I hope that the wedding is amazing. Hi all. So, my twin sister and I both got engaged. She proposed to her girlfriend 2 months ago, and my boyfriend proposed to me last week. We have both been dating our partners for about a year. My fiancé and I bought our first home together 3 months ago, and have been talking about marriage ever since. Both of our partners are older than us. My fiancé is 40, and her fiancé is 38. My twin and her fiancé are both very over the top. My twin's proposal was very planned out and over the top. They live in Southern California. They have a venue picked, and they are doing a $40,000 wedding with 250 plus people invited. They are doing all the normal wedding stuff: bridal shower, bachelorette party, expensive 2-week honeymoon, etc. They are having a huge bridal party. They have a date set for September of 2019 in Southern California, San Diego area. My fiancé and I are much more low-key. We live in a small town in Nevada. We live a simple life. My fiancé proposed to me on a Sunday night on our kitchen floor. It was perfect to me. We do not want to have a huge nor expensive wedding. To be honest, I don't really want to have a wedding at all. I would be completely content and happy to elope and skip all the planning stress. But my mother has expressed to me that she would be heartbroken if I did not have a wedding and had offered to give my twin and I money to help with each of our weddings. I found a cute venue that is very small in northern Nevada, and we are supposed to look at it next week. It would be about $6,000 total for the venue and everything, and we would invite about 50 people. So now the problem arises. My fiancé and I did not want a long engagement. We have talked many times about not wanting a long engagement. He is already 40, and we would like to start a family soon. Marriage is important to both of us to start a family, and honestly, we just want to be married. So the day after he proposed, I called my sister, out of respect to her, and told her that I realized her wedding was in 10 months. I expressed to her that we want a short engagement and would like to set our wedding date for May of 2019, 6 months from now. This would be 4 months before her wedding. It would be before any of her bridal events started happening, bridal shower, bachelorette party, etc. And I thought this was a fair amount of time before hers. I told her I wanted her to communicate with me how she felt about this. She seemed weird about it, but fine, and told me to talk with my fiancé and get plans set in stone, and then we would talk. So yesterday, I was supposed to see her at my dad's house. He lives about 4 hours away from me. She's been there with her fiancé to celebrate Thanksgiving. I couldn't make it because I ended up having to work today. I texted her and told her I couldn't make it down to see her. I was bummed, but what can I do? She then very passively-aggressively asked me to be her maid of honor over text. She stated she wanted to ask me in person, but since I couldn't see her in person, she would just ask me through text. So I called her to address the weird passive-aggressive text. Then, my sister lost her crap. She screamed at me that I am rushing my wedding, that I am essentially taking away from her day, and that I better watch what happens when people show up to my wedding and not hers, because it's only 4 months before hers, and she'll never forgive me if that happens. I still don't understand that last part, but okay. She said everyone thought I was acting stupid for doing this, that I was handling my wedding in the wrong way and rushing it, and she made it very known that she was not thrilled at all about our wedding being 4 months before hers. It was a terrible conversation, and we ended the phone call on a bad note, and I have not spoken to her since. I am very angry. I feel like it's not fair that I have to put my life on hold for an entire year or longer to wait until her wedding is over. My fiancé and I never wanted to wait a year to get married, and I refuse to wait a year. We don't want a short engagement to beat her to the punch. We want a short engagement because that's what we always wanted. It has nothing to do with her wedding. I thought 4 months before hers was enough to get my day over with and leave quite a bit of time before hers. I honestly feel like she is being very selfish to claim an entire year, and it makes me really dislike her. I know our relationship will never be the same. So now I am trying to move forward with this, and I have decided I no longer want to do a wedding at all. It's too much drama, which I never wanted to begin with. I feel like I'm only doing it to make my mom happy, and I love my mom, but a wedding is just not that important to me. I want to elope. I just want to be married to my fiancé. I don't care about a wedding or flowers or any of that crap. I never have. My fiancé is supportive of whatever I decide. I would love to just go away in the next couple of weekends and do it. We would still get our pictures taken and speak our vows to each other, but no one there, just us. But I know a true elopement would hurt both my parents and his. So I am also thinking of going to a beautiful lake near us and inviting only our parents. No siblings or anything. I would still wear a pretty white dress, hold some flowers, speak our vows in front of our parents, get married, and get some cute pictures done. Then after, we can go to a cute little restaurant and celebrate with just us. I would have a little cake ordered for us to have there and have our first dance. Simple, to the point, and just what I want for our special day. Our parents would still see us get married, and it would be small, which is what I wanted. I feel like it's a win-win. Either way, we are getting married in the next couple of weeks to months. Very fast, very small, very us. So I want some advice from people who aren't my friends or family. I know either route I take I will hurt someone. But either way, I do not care. I don't want any of our siblings there. I don't want it big. It's going to be either just him and I, or our parents there too. Do you think I am going to damage my family if I do a true elopement? Should I even care? Should I include our parents just to make them happy? Do you think my sister is being unreasonable, or am I? I really need some insight because at this point, I am angry with my sister and the whole thing gives me a headache. I don't think I'll be angry forever, but it forever changed the way I view my sister. Any advice or insight is very helpful. Thank you all in advance. Lake idea sounds beautiful and is a great idea. That said, this happened yesterday. You don't have to get married tomorrow. You are rightfully furious. Your sister just blew up at you. Take a breath. Give it a few days or weeks to decide with fiancé and mom if you choose what you really want to do. What feels right to you two. Not easiest, get it over with, quickest. What feels right. No one should get married angry at anyone. No one should have a sweet wedding by the lake or a 50-person party out of obligation. Take some time to say what is important to us. What compromises would I make and not be resentful about later, if any? Who do we truly want as our witnesses? And would we regret leaving anyone out years from now? I'm 27 male. My sister is 24. She's supposed to be getting married at the end of this month and has been postponing it since April. Yes, I know pandemic weddings are irresponsible, but I don't have control over her decisions. Our mom died 3 years ago after a long battle with cancer. She was an avid gardener after she retired during her treatment, and she grew a beautiful garden. Her landlord let me take what I could of her garden after she passed. My sister didn't take any of mom's plants, even when I offered. I paid to have a lot of the bigger ones relocated and spent the better part of a week covered in dirt and splinters. I am not an outdoorsy or handy guy normally. I put what I could in my backyard with the help of my saint of a wife, and I gave what I couldn't keep to my mom's friends and siblings. We've since moved to a bigger place and moved the plants with us. I've since learned how to garden to keep up with the plants. My sister is asking me to supply her with flowers for her wedding bouquet from mom's garden, so mom can be with her on her big day. I offered her a rose to place on her bouquet, but I told her I wasn't going to give her a lot of cuttings since 1, it's November, and not a lot are blooming, and 2, this is literally the only time she's ever asked for anything from the garden in 3 years, and it's an accessory for her plague wedding. She wants more flowers, specifically magnolias and irises. Those flowers are not in season. Since she won't be getting the flowers she wants, she's now asking for a bouquet full of chrysanthemums and lilies from the garden. I don't have that many currently in bloom. She came to my house to visit and acted like my yard was her flower nursery. I finally got fed up and just told her no, she's not going to get the flowers. I've been taking care of them, and she hasn't cared about them until it suited her. And if she wanted them so bad, she would have taken the numerous offers I gave her before, and that she needs to stop bothering me about it. She ended up crying and somehow got that I said she didn't love mom or deserve her there on her wedding day, which I didn't say. Now she's refusing even the rose I was going to give her before and doesn't want me at the wedding. I feel like the bad guy here, which is what she's been painting me as to our family. My wife is assuring me my sister is just being her typical self-centered self, and the wedding stress is just fuel to the fire. Everyone sucks here, but mostly you. I personally think it's quite persnickety to only grant a single rose. If you could do her up a bouquet of her dead mother's ex-flowers, then I'd do her up a bouquet. At 21 years old, was she even in a position to take, plant, and care for a load of flowers? Did she even have a permanent garden? She's not asking for her share of the flowers for her garden now, which would be totally out of line. She's asking for a bouquet. Now, if there realistically aren't any flowers available to do a bouquet, then that's a different conversation. If you could give her 10 roses, then give her 10 roses. You're being the A if you're saying no just because you can. It's pretty obvious this is her way of incorporating her mom into her day. And you turning around and saying no because she wants to take your flowers you've worked so hard for obviously made her feel like you're withholding that. I'm more with your sister on this one, if not for any reason, that you've shown a total lack of empathy. Be a better elder sibling. What else did you get that she didn't because of age and being at different places in your lives? She was bratty by your description and thoughtlessness, and that she has zero idea on how much work and effort has gone into maintaining the garden and flowers. I wonder if you knew how much work would be involved when you took them. Have you ever told your sister about that? It definitely is rude that she rocked up like it's a shop, but I question if you are actually wanting to help and accommodate her. I come back to the single rose comment. My mother-in-law is horrible, extremely attention-seeking, left the wedding early. Well, her husband dragged her out because he could not get her to stop crying. She makes passive-aggressive jokes and has broken down sobbing on multiple occasions because marriage is forever and she is never going to have a good Christmas again, which I can only interpret as she is seriously pissed about having to invite me. Her older son is married to someone she loves. I asked sister-in-law and she said she used to treat her like that as well. So sister-in-law shook up champagne and sprayed her with it. I told her that was crazy, and how is that going to fix a relationship? But sister-in-law said mother-in-law has no respect for me, and I feel like she would know because they are super close. Well, I'm a ducking idiot, and I poured champagne on her while she was being witchy. She just sobbed, threatened to call the police, and said she would love it if I lost my job over this, and father-in-law cussed me out, and it wasn't even that much champagne. Also, sister-in-law didn't set me up. I confirmed with father-in-law, and she actually did spray her with a full bottle of champagne. And like I said, they are best friends. My husband said it's fine and not to worry about it because she'll forget in a couple days. Everyone sucks here. Your entire family needs to go see a counselor. Throwing champagne on someone for apparently no reason makes you the a-hole here. Same with your family. This sounds like an episode from The Real Housewives. You are an idiot. She doesn't like me, so I am going to assault her, and that will change her mind. I would send her an apology card and flowers, and just be distant but polite from now on. Stop caring so much about how she feels about you. Yes, the a-hole.